A very good morning to all. Today we are going to discuss about a new chapter about nuclear magnetic resonance. Nuclear magnetic resonance in condensed matter that was discovered simultaneously at Harvard and at Stanford in 1946 using different instrumentation and using different technique. Both groups observed the resonance of magnetic nuclei placed in a uniform magnetic field to a continuous radio frequency magnetic field as the field was tuned through the resonance. And this opened up a new opportunity or new form of spectroscopy that become one of the most important tool for physicists, chemists, geophysicists, and biologists. Okay, it is nothing but the interaction of radiation with matter. That is nuclear magnetic resonance, that is abbreviated as NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance. Okay, the nuclear magnetic spectroscopy, that is it is a powerful technique that is used to characterize organic molecules by identifying the carbon-hydrogen framework within the molecules. That is, it is a phenomenon which occurs when the nuclei of certain atoms, that nuclei is placed in a static magnetic field. So that is exposed to a oscillating magnetic field. So the some nuclei experience this phenomenon and others do not. Some nuclei experience the phenomenon and others do not experience the phenomenon. That is depending on the spin property. Okay, so these organic molecules, that is by identifying this carbon-hydrogen framework within the molecules, that technique is the NMR. That is the basic idea behind this. That is identifying this carbon-hydrogen framework. That is based on the property of the spin. That is, the nuclei which has certain number of atoms are placed in the magnetic field. Some nuclei is rotating along the magnetic field and some others do not experience this rotation. That is depends on the property. Okay, and it is important to remember that with NMR we are performing experiments on the nuclei of atoms, not the electrons. Okay, nuclei of atoms, not the electrons. So it is one of the important and one of the important research technique that exploits the magnetic properties of atomic nuclei, certain atomic nuclei. That it is one of the unavoidable technique for the researchers to identify the properties behind the nucleus. So it determines the chemical and physical properties of atoms or molecules in which they are contained. Okay, it is one of the important tool to identify the physical and chemical properties of atoms or molecules. There are commonly two type of NMR spectroscopy: proton oriented and carbon oriented NMR spectroscopy. Okay, HNMR, that is, it is used to determine the type and number of hydrogen atom in a molecule, whereas in CNMR it is used to determine the type of carbon atom in the molecule. And what is the source of NMR? Actually, the source of energy in NMR is the radio waves, which have wavelength more than 10⁻⁷ nanometer. Thus, obviously, it has low energy and frequency. When these low energy radio waves interact with the molecule or the nuclei with certain atoms, nuclei of certain atoms or interact with the molecule, they can change the nuclear spin of some elements, including hydrogen and carbon. It is all depends on the property of spin, that is the interaction with the radio waves with the atom. And next we are going to discuss about theory of NMR. In a magnetic field, there are now two energy states for a proton, the lower energy states and the higher energy states. Lower energy states with the nucleus that is aligned in the same direction, that is B0, while the higher energy states in which the nucleus aligned against B0. When an external energy source that matches the energy difference between the two states is applied, the energy is absorbed. നമുക്കറിയാം, ഇപ്പോൾ സപ്പോസ് രണ്ട് എനർജി സ്റ്റേറ്റ്സ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ലോവർ എനർജി സ്റ്റേറ്റ്സും ഹയർ എനർജി സ്റ്റേറ്റ്സും ഈ രണ്ട് എനർജി സ്റ്റേറ്റ്സിൻ്റെ ഡിഫറൻസ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ എച്ച് ന്യൂ, E2 മൈനസ് E1, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ എച്ച് ന്യൂ. ഈ എനർജി ഡിഫറൻസ് നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്ന എനർജിയോട് എപ്പോൾ ഈക്വൽ ആകുന്നു, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വെൻ ഡെൽറ്റ ഇ, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് E2 മൈനസ് E1, that is equal to h nu, that is the frequency of the radiation that we applied. That is by Einstein relation, that is E is equal to h nu, that is delta E equal to h nu, delta E equal to E2 minus E1, where h is the Planck's constant, nu is the frequency of the radiation. അപ്പോൾ മാത്രമേ അബ്സോർപ്ഷൻ സംഭവിക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. Okay, that causing the nucleus to spin flip from one orientation to another. This energy difference between the two nuclear spin states corresponds to lower frequency radio frequency region of the electromagnetic spectrum. That is all lie in the radio frequency region. And when the charged particle such as proton spins on its axis, it creates a magnetic field. So we can consider this nucleus can be considered as a tiny bar magnet. Normally these tiny magnets are randomly oriented in space. ഓരോ ന്യൂക്ലിയസിന് ഒരു ടൈനി മാഗ്നറ്റായിട്ട് കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഓരോ മാഗ്നറ്റും, അതായത് ഈ ഓരോ ന്യൂക്ലിയസും റാൻഡം ആയിട്ടാണ് ഓറിയൻറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഇപ്പോൾ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഇൻ ദ ആബ്സെൻസ് ഓഫ് ദ മാഗ്നറ്റിക് ഫീൽഡ്. Suppose in the presence of the magnetic field, these tiny magnets that are our nucleus, these tiny magnets orient or align with or against this magnetic field. ചിലപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഇൻലൈനിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഔട്ട്ലൈനിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സെയിം ഡയറക്ഷനിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഓപ്പോസിറ്റ് ഡയറക്ഷനിലോ അത് അലൈൻ ചെയ്യാം വിത്ത് ദി magnetic field. That is only in the presence of the magnetic field. Otherwise it is randomly oriented in space. Most nuclei are oriented with the applied field because of this arrangement is lower in energy. The energy difference, that is very small. Okay, now that is this energy difference between two smalls, that is also depends on its temperature, that is below 0.1. Okay, what now we are going to find out what is the effect of this magnetic field. That is, in the absence of the magnetic field, these nuclear magnets, that is our nucleus, or it is considered as the tiny magnet, is arranged randomly oriented in space. But in the presence of the magnetic field, that is this nuclear magnets, that is our tiny magnets, align with or against the magnetic field. One is spin up and another is spin down. That is all depends upon its spin property. That is, a nucleus is in resonance. Resonance means when the applied field, that is when the applied radiation, that is the h nu, that is equal to the energy difference between the states. That is h nu equal to E2 minus E1, then only the absorption takes place. That condition is the resonance. When the nucleus is in the resonance conditions, obviously it absorbs the radiation and spin flips to a higher energy states. Suppose the two variable characteristics of NMR and applied magnetic field B0, the strength is suppose 1 Tesla, and the frequency of radiation, that is frequency is denoted as here N, of radiation used for resonance and measured in hertz and megahertz. Suppose this one is lower energy states, this one is higher energy states. When energy is when this equal to this energy difference between E2 minus E1, it gets absorbed. Okay, this absorbing radio frequency radiation causes the nucleus to spin flip. Okay, suppose here this is spin up. When this absorbs the radiation, it becomes spin down, that is in the higher energy states. That is the idea behind the spin flip, that is the concept of spin flip. And this frequency needed for this resonance, that is h nu is equal to E2 minus E1, that is the resonance condition. And this frequency that is depends on the applied magnetic field, that is, and the applied magnetic field strength that is proportional to the frequency of the radiation, that is for the resonance. That is, nu is directly proportional to B0. Stronger the magnetic field, larger energy difference between the two nuclear spin states, and higher the nu needed for the resonance. അതായത് ചെറിയൊരു എനർജി ഡിഫറൻസ് ആണെങ്കിൽ സ്വാഭാവികമായും ലോവർ എനർജി സ്റ്റേറ്റ്സിൽ നിന്ന് അപ്പർ സ്റ്റേറ്റിലേക്ക് പോകാൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്പിൻ ഫ്ലിപ്പ് സംഭവിക്കാൻ കുറച്ച് മാഗ്നറ്റിക് ഫീൽഡ് ആവശ്യം വരുന്നുള്ളൂ. സപ്പോസ് രണ്ട് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്സ് തമ്മിലുള്ള ഡിഫറൻസ് കൂടുതലാണെങ്കിൽ സ്വാഭാവികമായും കൂടുതൽ എനർജി വേണം. അതിനോടനുബന്ധിച്ച് കൂടുതൽ മാഗ്നറ്റിക് ഫീൽഡ് നമുക്ക് റെസൊണൻസ് കണ്ടീഷനിൽ അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി വരും. ഇനി ഏതൊക്കെ സാമ്പിൾസ് നമുക്ക് ട്രീറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ നോക്കാം. ബോത്ത് ലിക്വിഡ് സാമ്പിൾസ്, സോളിഡ് സാമ്പിൾസ് can be used in NMR spectroscopy. For the liquid type samples, conventional solution state NMR spectroscopy can be used for analyzing, while for the solid state sample, solid state spectroscopy can be used. And in solid phase media, the samples like crystals, powders, gels, anisotropic solutions, proteins and fibrils and all kind of polymers that are the under solid state conditions. And in the case of the liquid phase, different types of solutions can be used, proteins, carbohydrates and nucleic acids. All the liquid samples can be used in the solution state spectroscopy for analyzing. And now we consider the spin of the nuclei. It is the one of the important section in this. Okay, that define the magnetic properties of the nuclei. That is one of the most important properties of a nuclei is its spin. And if the spin is I, obviously the intrinsic spin angular momentum is IH cut. So it gives rise to the magnetic moment to the nucleus. ഒരു ന്യൂക്ലിയസിൻ്റെ മാസ് നമ്പറും അറ്റോമിക് നമ്പറും നോക്കി നമുക്കതിൻ്റെ സ്പിന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ സാധിക്കും. സപ്പോസ് ദ മാസ് നമ്പർ എ ഈസ് ഓഡ്, atomic number Z is even or odd. എ ഈസ് ഓഡ്, അതായത് മാസ് നമ്പർ ഓഡ് ആകുന്നു, അറ്റോമിക് നമ്പർ ഓഡും ആകാം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈവനും ആകാം. സോ ഹിയർ ദ സ്പിൻ ഈസ് ഹാഫ് ഇൻറ്റിജർ സ്പിൻ, that is odd mass nuclei with odd number of nucleons. Mass number is odd, atomic number even or odd. So the spin is half. Examples are 1H1, C6, N7. Okay. These are under the category of fermions. Okay, now we treat the another conditions. When the mass number and atomic number both are even, then the spin is 0. Atomic number mass number രണ്ടും ഈവൻ ആണെങ്കിൽ സ്പിൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത് 0 ആയിരിക്കും. ഹീലിയം, കാർബൺ, ഓക്സിജൻ അതെല്ലാം 0 സ്പിൻ്റെ അണ്ടറിൽ വരുന്നു. ഇനി സപ്പോസ് മാസ് നമ്പർ ഈവനും അറ്റോമിക് നമ്പർ ഓഡ് ആവുന്ന കേസാണെങ്കിലോ സ്പിൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത് ഇൻറ്റിജർ സ്പിൻ ആയിരിക്കും. 1H2, 5B10, അതേപോലെ തന്നെ N714 അതെല്ലാം സ്പിൻ ഇൻറ്റിജർ സ്പിന്നായിട്ട് വരുന്ന കേസ്. അപ്പോൾ അതെല്ലാം ബോസോൺസിൻ്റെ അണ്ടറിൽ വരുന്നതാണ്. That is 0 and integer spins are under the category of bosons, while the half integer spins are under fermions. ഒന്നുകൂടി പറയാം. If mass number is odd, atomic number even or odd, spin is half integer. If atomic number and mass number both are even, then spin is 0. If mass number is even, atomic number is odd, then the spin is integer spin. Okay, that's all about today class. കൂടുതൽ കാര്യങ്ങൾ അടുത്ത ക്ലാസ്സിൽ നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം. Thank you.